Well, hello to all of you who were joining us for the See You earlier.
Woot woot.
Yo soy Padre Christopher Decker. You know, I had a probably 5-minute conversation in Spanish today with my one Colombian family in my parish. Coincidentally, are moving to Baton Rouge. And
Oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, so. Oh, but I forget you're not.
I was rather surprised that I actually could carry on a conversation where we were both comprehensible to each other for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I told her, I said, as long as I don't have to talk too much to you in what's going to happen and what happened, I can talk to you about the present.
Uh-huh.
So I did.
That's nice. You need gum
Gums?
or mint?
I don't think so. There's usually something lying around somewhere. Hey, Jeff, do you have a mint storage somewhere? Not like the Denver Mint, but like mints, like gum or something? Because Kathleen requires some sort of breath-freshening agent, and I wouldn't deny it to her if I had it. Oh, she's rattling something around it, but I just think it's a push pin. Yeah. One day, when the studio is new, we will have a bowl somewhere with mints and things. Also available and sugar-free. That's right, there's some breath-freshening crackers. And they're made with ancient grains, which apparently mean something. And that goes to you too, listener. Ancient grains. In case you're just joining us, Kathleen has the entire Catholic Radio staff searching for a breath mint. And that's kind of breaking news, actually, that we actually care that much about our hygiene. It's really funny to think that I'm the only one sitting here in front of a microphone right now, breath rank as it may be, talking to you about the necessity for breath mints in a radio station, although you'd think it would be kind of a thing. And so you're driving along your merry way to wherever you're going to, driver, and I'm talking to you about breath mints. And right now you're probably thinking to yourself, do I have any breath mints in my car? Did the kids eat them all? And you're checking your center console, and there's nothing there. Oh, wait, there's one. There's one right now. Sadly, it's not here at the radio station. It's in your car, and you're probably enjoying it, which I think is a great thing. Because, you know, when nobody's around, it's still kind of nice to have fresh breath. Makes you feel important. Makes you feel special. Makes you feel like something is actually happening in your life. And that is my meditation on a breath mint.
Sorry. I tried my best. You're just going to have to suffer through.
That's okay. We're sitting at least, you know,
We got some
30 centimeters away, so.
some of that sweet and sour egg roll sauce in there.
Oh, yeah. Just
Oh,
sweet and sour egg roll sauce. That'll sweeten it right up.
And I got some diet cherry Dr. Pepper.
You didn't find it?
No. You know, I think I've worn this shirt like every other show. Just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's your concentration camp shirt.
It's my go-to.
Yes, unless I need to
Thank
sit
you.
some other way. Part of the problem is I'm actually not slouching at the moment, which is saying something.
La 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 la. Okay. Focus. Pick of the week.
This is part of Kathleen's process, by the way.
I work well. I work the best under pressure. Under pressure.
I was waiting for it. I think I'm gonna make. See if I can get.
I really don't like hearing myself on.
You don't?
No.
No te gusta.
No me gusta.
I know I'm probably vain, but I don't mind the sound of my voice.
It's a nice
I
voice.
wouldn't listen to the sound of my own voice to put me to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I wouldn't record it and say, "You're getting sleepy Julia, now you've come to the end of the day.
Ah.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
but I don't mind it. Mainly, I think that might be an only child thing because I've spent all of my life talking to myself. So, yeah.
And I would say that in this case, or in this instance, especially
The more I
that
hear
there was-
myself, the more I don't doubt that I have some kind of speech impediments.
Speech impediment?
Yeah. A slight slur, I think.
A slur? That might just be Baton Rouge, though.
Hmm.
Because I notice a lot of
Really?
South Baton Rouge.
Better check.
Sometimes it comes with a little bit of a twang kind of thing, but there's a bit of slurredness to South Baton Rouge people.
You thought
Yeah,
it was-
why is that? It's like the tip of my tongue
Sure
is
that everything is
slightly swollen.
in the computer correctly.
You can say that.
I was
Just
trying to
say
say that
something.
10 times fast. Sure.
A old rerun schedule. I'm like, where did that come from?
And I don't really know what North Baton Rouge
Oh, we're
folks sound like.
I don't know.
I've
been told, like, I never thought I had an accent. I've been told that I do.
You do.
Hmm.
It's actually not a Baton Rouge accent, though.
What accent is it? Wisconsin?
It's got kind of a northern sound.
weird.
But I mean, I don't have a southern accent either.
And you know, because my dad
You have
traveled
an accent.
around the world.
Hey, Ed.
Now, after I have a couple of beers, I really sound like I'm from Washington,
That's right.
which I am, and I don't tell many people that. But
I wouldn't.
now, and growing up there as a child, when I was in the first grade, we moved to Illinois,
Oh, okay.
Joliet of all places.
Oh, really? It's got
Yep.
its own diocese.
It does. It
Diocese
sure
of
does.
Joliet. Yeah.
Has a big old prison there too.
That's
And
pretty
then-
much all. No, I'm
Well, that's right. That's what we're talking about. I know.
Chancery, prison. You know.
And post office. But then we moved back to Bogalusa and stayed there about 6 months, and then moved to. It was like during the summer up to Massachusetts, lived in this place called Beverly Farms, and then moved out to Manchester.
Oh.
And then as the weather started turning cooler, we went to Belfast, Maine. So I was in. Let's see. Well, first half of the first grade in Illinois, the second half up in Maine,
You've definitely
yeah,
done
first grade. Yeah, it was first grade. Yeah.
kind of the equivalent of an army brat.
Came back to Louisiana for the second grade, and then moved to Arizona in the third grade.
My goodness.
So, but I always thought it was so funny the way the people in Maine compared to Massachusetts spoke, and because they really flattened, like Bahaba
Bahaba, yeah.
and lobster fishermen up there.
I want a Baston.
But yeah, I learned how to do some I had to do an old salty sea fisherman kind of dialect for a spot for Kroger one time. Yeah, fresh lobster. But
I trust the Blackwell fisherman. Trust the Blackwell fisherman.
I'm picking up what you put down there.
I
fella.
don't trust any fish that comes in a frozen box.
I generally don't, but I trust Jeff.
Well,
And if Jeff feeds me fish, then I'll eat it.
I mean, we had fish sticks
You
as a kid. Oh man, that was like
The fish
every
stick,
week.
The fish stick to me is one. I never did like fish sticks. I never did.
Made from minced fish.
Ew.
But at least with a fish stick, minced fish is not as scary as what makes up a chicken nugget.
I make nugget or yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I say
Nuggets.
chicken nuggets. So.
Nuggets. Yeah.
Oh,
In fact, I just got a T-shirt. Get excited. You know what it says?
Good.
Nugs, not drugs. It has
Oh,
chicken
yeah,
nuggets.
that
Let me
birdie.
tell you my connection to chicken nuggets. It was all the way back to when I was little. But when I was in high school,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
chicken nugget day was like the day, and people coveted their nuggets.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because the school chicken nugget was.
It was phenomenal. And so one day we're in there, and me and my friend Emily get in a competition. How many nugs can you eat? By the end of the hour, do you want to guess how many nugs I downed?
I
No, higher.
really I've done a 20 box by myself but more, like upwards of 40 maybe.
Oh.
Really? More than that?
52 chicken nuggets.
Wow.
I was so sick,
I-
but it was the best day of my life.
Oh, yeah.
It was awful.
Gonna be sick. It's gonna be worth it.
It was horrible.
I'd put 22 grapes in his mouth at one time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because that's.
I had choir the next hour. I couldn't even sing. I was
Oh,
really bad.
I would.
and I had a friend of mine that somebody dared him, how many atomic fireballs can you put in your mouth at one time?
Ew.
Now, they come in different sizes, but I'm talking about these big ones.
Oh yeah. Huh?
And he had 8.
Wow.
That is, and I mean, he was drooling, of course, red.
I would imagine so.
Yes. 8 of them.
I do.
Oh, we lost Kathleen again.
Oh, she gone.
Uh,
Doo-doo. Bloop, bloop, bloop. There I am.
there we
As
go.
she ever was.
Found me. I think I'm starting to lose my hair.
No, anything but that.
I know. Not excited. I've always had thin hair,
Mhm.
and now it's just there's nothing. There's nothing there. Can't get any volume.
Oh, maybe you should try the Teresa May with volume control.
Teresa May for all your hairs. Boy. That's like when people tell you, I'm going to go get a haircut. Well, which one?
Yeah.
What?
Hey!
I'm having problems with the video camera.
Oh, maybe in Alameda, where the video servers are.
Yeah, it's stuck on eyeglasses, man. I'm probably going to have to reboot to make this happen.
Oh,
All
And
right.
for whatever reason, it started sticking with it. Let me reboot real fast.
All
Yeah,
right.
reboot it.
Adios.
Go by.
That was the voice of Father Ryan Humphreys from the Minor Basilica. You know what?
The Immaculate Conception.
In beautiful downtown Natchitoches.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, that was.
You remember that jingle, and I hear it kid when I lived in Washington Parish, because I listened to WNOE and
WNOE.
and TIX.
WTIX.
And that Rosenberg.
Oh, yeah. You mean the talent intros?
Yeah,
For
1925 too. Like Rosenberg's like a
furniture
department store, furniture store. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, that one. And then what was the Miller the Killer? The Miller Pest Control. Do you remember that
Oh,
one?
my goodness.
He kills them all. Yeah.
My favorite pest control. Actually, there are two, but one is politically correct, so I can say. There's the Duga Pest Control.
Yeah.
Our name scares bugs to death.
That's a good one.
And only in Louisiana can you say Duga. And everybody
Duga.
go, oh, yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah. Went to high school with him.
As the outsiders say, who's that Dugas man?
That's right. Or Dugas.
Douglas?
Douglas.
Yeah.
Dugas man. So I'll never forget, we went up to Stephenville, Ohio for a youth trip, and we had these shirts on, which I don't do corn, Jesus youth stuff. It drives me kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it said "Go Jesus," GAUX, Jesus.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
And they just Gox. What does Gox mean? Is that Latin? No,
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 but
ma'am.
more French.
I like that.
We're from Louisiana. Oh, okay.
Where did you find that?
That was Betsy Elliott singing. I think.
Oh yeah. So not the jingle version. They did have a little girl singing it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's the one.
Let's see here.
Rose and gold, rose and gold. 1839.
And then, of course, who can forget? I love that KMB sound. That
Yeah.
I love KMV.
KMB is a store that not many know about. That might be listening along. KMB was a big purple wonder.
Cats
their
and
logo.
Best Off.
Yes, Cats and Best Off. One of our local
Oh, I didn't know it.
drugstores.
Stood for.
Yeah. In fact, my wife, when we first got married, that was her first job. And she would ride her bicycle to work because we only had one car.
And you could ride bicycles to work
Yes.
and not be in New York or Chicago.
In first grade, we took a field trip down to the KMB for St. Thomas More,
Oh, yeah, 'cause there was one right there.
and they gave us popsicles.
Do you remember the K&B smell?
Mm-hmm.
There was a smell inside K&B that I don't know what it was exactly.
And it had, when you walked in, it had the
They had these big electronic inventory control doors.
yeah.
Like your mother.
Actually, that was our pantry. You know my mom very well.
There you go. That's a little better.
It'll be 16 by 9.
Oh.
Just got to bring her up full screen.
Looks like a 2x4.
I tell you what.
Show enough.
All right.
There he is.
He's actually pretty well in frame this time round.
I'm holding my neck forward.
What's that thing on the couch? It does look kind of hugly.
Yeah, it's a blanket.
It's his blankie, actually.
I can move. Stand.
Yeah, our video director is yours. See, he turned off the camera because he's actually wearing shorts.
Probably.
Bermuda shorts, I'm sure.
Or
Maybe some cargo shorts.
or Progress Island, USA shorts in Puerto Rico.
And ready for reveal? Bam!
Nice.
I don't have a card in my hand.
Look into my eyes. Look into my eyes. Not around the eyes. Not around the eyes. Look into my eyes.
There's a the TED Talks from 2004 or something. This weird guy from like Slovakia doing up close card magic.
Oh my!
It's incredibly cool.
How does that qualify as a TED Talk?
I don't know. It feels like they planned something else. This guy just happened to be there.
We were going
And
to do this actual thing that may change the world, but he didn't show up.
Yeah, he's gas. He's in the bathroom. We need you to go ahead and do a card show. Okay, sure.
Close-up magic? I'm on it.
Speaking of, did you happen to see the Houdini series? It was on what, a History Channel?
I didn't.
or
It was that was the guy who played the Countess's son from the Grand Budapest Hotel. What's his name?
I don't know. From the
Oh,
side,
that-
he reminds me of an Edsel. That's all I can remember.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Got
He
a schnoz on him, but
has a
anyway.
striking nose.
Yes, he does. And if you get away, it will strike you.
Sorry. That's me again, isn't it?
That's me.
So I saw the first episode. I didn't get to see the end. I DVD it, but I haven't. Yet.
He dies at the end.
You know,
Who done it?
He did.
Yeah, he did. I'm going to try to convince Father Chris to watch the Strain with the show. It's not.
I want to try. I want to try to. If it's not too scary.
It's really not there. It's scary on a different kind of way. It's not a bunch of jump scares.
I'm okay with a little like a thrill chill.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a very very occasional one of those, but most of the time it's more of like the existential fear that comes with a movie that's scary on a more profound level.
Oh, I'm good with that.
Yeah,
Is-
you dig it.
What about Gotham tomorrow night? Anybody watching?
I want to watch. I want to see that. Man, I like
no,
that act.
No, Father. Ron.
I mean Ben McKenzie from the OC.
Maybe.
I've never been a comic book guy, and so
Oh no.
the idea of
I do.
Batman for the sake of Batman.
Yeah, well, the hype has kind of got me interested because they show Bruce Wayne as a child.
Well, I don't think from what I understand, from what I get from it, it's not about Batman. It's about everything else.
Yeah.
It's a prequel how he became Batman.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
the
it's still
villains
not
and-
focused on him. You know what I mean?
But I've seen Michael Keaton do that. I've seen
Yeah,
that guy with the dark voice do that.
Which really doesn't have a dark voice.
Oh, he's got a kind of a girly voice, but apparently he's a nerd on set.
Well,
Christian Bale?
yeah,
Yeah,
Christian
that's-
Bale is trying to
Okay,
desperately
wait. Okay,
tell you that news didn't happen. with his voice.
you're in danger zones with Christian Bale. Just
Or is
No,
the Italian
he's a nerd.
seminarian?
You're at a great
Called-
distance. The only thing you can do is try to hurt me with your words.
which I can't do.
No,
You,
not
no,
likely
you
to
can't.
take.
No, not him.
And Father Chris, did we talk about this in the pre-CU? But I remember telling you a friend of mine whose son works for a company in Burbank called Trailer Park. They make the movie.
Oh
trailers.
yes, uh-huh.
And Christian Bale was shooting a movie off the coast of Africa, and
Oh yes.
so this guy's son and the photographer hired by the studio and the photographer's assistant all were to go down to Africa. Well, they canceled it, and they said, we're just going to, shoot him while he's in London. And for 7 days, they sat there waiting. On the last day that he was going to be in London at the studio, he said, I don't want to do it. We'll just do it in L.A. when I get back there. So they were paying this photographer like $30,000 a day.
Ah, blessed
Day
brains in
rate.
Africa. That's a lot of money.
Sit around for a week. They were complaining because they were sitting around making 200 and something
I
thousand
miss
dollars.
the rains down in Africa. But
Yeah.
they paid my hotel bill.
Oh, it was nice.
And no, there's no Wakachu in that.
There could be.
There could be if it were
What about
a
a
70 crime
chickadee
thriller.
pa? You know. That,
but there's not.
oh, that's Kenny Loggins.
Why wouldn't there
He's
be?
going home. You can't.
He's in the danger zone, man.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
better be ready if you mess with Kenny Loggins.
No, we celebrated at home.
Unlike
That's-
Christian Bale.
Uh oh. Happened something when. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
he's Ed's on the
There's a
bar.
flash over there, and I couldn't see. Okay. Well, we're good then.
Yeah. Oh, and remember, Ed, to if you want, I can
Floss.
give you the nod. Yes, do remember to floss regularly. But I'll give you the nod, or if it's just at the top of the hour, because I need to have a little bit of my face to have an edit point. So like whenever you hear the top of the hour intro.
From the Catholic Underground.
No, before that.
Oh, even before that. Okay.
Yeah.
Before
Oh,
the
the-
Catholic Underground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that way I have enough filler. Because otherwise I have to put that CU's next graphic up.
Okay.
I don't have
Yes.
anything to cover it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Picking up what he's putting down there. Guy five.
Huh?
Okay.
Your
That's perfect.
silent signal for assent.
I don't know. That's not very Benedictine.
Actually, it is. Your silence signals your assent. Yeah, I think it would be.
I think that's more Cistercian of you.
That would be more Cistercian. Oh, that's what I was going to. Did I tell you, Father? I watched a 30-minute HBO documentary on the top 10 monks, the monks that had their from Austria, that had their
Oh, yeah.
album go to the pop charts all over Europe,
Really?
and it drove their tourist industry up, and it drove the locations up a little bit. Really, really good little 30-minute mini documentary called Top 10 Monks. And they're Cistercians, so I mean, completely cloistered order. And it's the cloistered orders that are becoming famous because, well, they're living their vocation.
I've never heard
There's
of
that's that
Cistercian.
scene in the Integrated Silence where, I mean, you have two
Yeah.
guys coming into the order and they're both like 25.
Yep.
At the end, and whatever the other guy's name is.
And to say nothing of what you call it, the monks of Clear Creek. Same thing.
Right.
They've got lots of young guys that are sticking around too. You
Mhm.
know.
They're stronger men than I am.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I needed to hear something off of your
Oh,
device.
device here.
Ray, please. Thank you.
Or as bright the iPad.
May I?
Man.
Oh, there's that
Fixed.
buzz.
Yeah.
There's that buzz again. So we've got that buzz, and then we've got Father Ryan's audio buzz.
Yeah, there's a little
Buzz?
sparkle whenever you talk or
Crickly
modulate.
crackle.
It's a little. Yeah.
Oh, good. Good to be of service.
Yeah, but it.
Please enjoy your trip through this door.
At least the I probably shouldn't mention anything about it, but the bandwidth is good.
Now he's.
What about when you're in there, Father Chris? Have you checked recently?
Yeah.
It's enough to get there, huh?
Hey, Ken, welcome to the chat room. Good to see you again. Good to be back.
Oh, I didn't load in the Magic chat room stuff.
Wow.
I'm a terrible person.
This sound reminds me of whenever we had issues back when we would have
Oh,
to
with constipation?
band with
Oh,
constipation.
thanks, Ed. Got it.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
Audio is rolling there, Father Chris. We are recording.
Oh, awesome. Oh, and if you want, we might as well start recording the video there too, Ed, if you didn't do that yet. There should be a little record button up there.
And make it snappy.
What do you call the device? The newt or the squirt or something?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hello.
It's called an Atomos Ninja 2.
Don't you have a short name for it?
Well,
I mean, it's
well,
the audio
the
recorder.
audio one is called the DERP,
Or the derp.
Yeah.
Your derp!
the digital recording processor or something. Yeah.
Digital record playback. Yeah.
Yeah.
Derp 1.
You guys can
Oh, and
call
by
it.
the way, the ones that I've ordered, they're on back order.
Okay.
They've been on back order
That's
for
what
a few
happens
weeks
when you
now.
have something popular. I've had a couple of parishioners ask me
Oh, yes.
this week, as a matter of fact.
Let's start capturing those homilies.
I'm a little afraid, but okay.
We about a couple of minutes and a half away, so perhaps we shall pray.
Oh, I guess we
Kathleen,
should,
would
huh?
you lead us? No. I'm
I
sorry.
was like, wait, what?
Would.
I'm not ready for that.
Is it me? I guess it's me. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
Almighty God, we give you thanks for this day and for the many blessings that you have given to us, especially the sacraments of the church given to us by your Son Jesus. We ask, Lord, that you would help us as we embark on this work on the digital continent. Help us to stay true to the gospel and help us to say things that men need to hear that are helpful for salvation. We ask, Lord, that you would bless those who listen to us live and in a special way protect our equipment from any deadly attack of the enemy. We ask your blessing upon us, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen.
If I were Anglican, I might say, we beg your blessing. We beg, O Lord, thy blessing.
Implore thy blessing.
We implore, O Lord, thy blessing. Anyway, I guess we'll see you in a few, eh?
The Catholic Underground. Holy Spirit led him home to the Catholic Church. That's on the next Journey Home, only on EWTN. This is EWTN Radio.
I'm Father Byron Miller, Director of the National Shrine of Blessed Francis Xavier Sealos in New Orleans, and I would like to invite you to this popular pilgrimage site and sanctuary of hospitality, hope, and healing. Located just 1 block from the Magazine Street dining and shopping corridor, the shrine of this 19th century priest and modern-day powerful intercessor is located in Louisiana's oldest German Catholic church, Redemptorist Church of St. Mary's Assumption. Free tours of the shrine and museum are offered Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. We're at 919 Josephine Street in the Lower Garden District of New Orleans. Why not plan a spiritual pilgrimage? Please call us at 504-525-2495. That's 504-525-2495. Or visit us online at sealos.org. All come.
Join us for the Holy Sacrifice of the Mass, live from Our Lady of Mercy Parish in Baton Rouge, weekdays at noon and Sunday mornings at 10:30 on Catholic Community Radio 1380 WPYR.
Hi, Charles Savoy here with Johnny's Pizza House, home of Sweep the Kitchen Pizza. We're proud supporters of Catholic Community Radio. Johnny's Pizza with 2 locations, Baton Rouge 763-9797 and Central 615-8335.
Request prayer. Find out what's going on. Donate securely.
CatholicCommunityRadio.org.
CatholicCommunityRadio.org. WPYR.
Baton Rouge.
Catholic Radio.
For your community.
From the Catholic Underground.
Today on the show outfitting your go bag, Google Apps, go to school, and to your job? Is it just because of my bandwidth? Our picks of the week and so much more. The Catholic Underground starts right now. Oh, mein Lieben, welcome to the Catholic Underground. We're your weekly Catholic guide, Digital Continent. It's episode number 275. I am Father Chris Decker. If you were listening live, you can join us in the chat room, CatholicUnderground.tv. Get your chat room with us. Joining us this week, we've got Father Ryan Humphreys. He's the rector of the Minor Basilica of the Immaculate Conception in historic Natchitoches, Louisiana. Hello, Father.
Hello, world.
Also, Kathleen Lee, the campus minister at St. Michael the Archangel High School in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She is a fully licensed ninja, and she joins us. Kathleen.
Hi.
Yeah, Jeff Blackwell is the technical director of the CU. He's the commandant of the Jeff Star 1 near-Earth orbit satellite, and he joins us here on Earth tonight.
Yes.
Hello, Jeff.
Thank you, Father. Good to be here.
And Ed is on the ball with our video direction, so if you like what you see, tell him. If you don't like it, stop watching. What are you watching for? Anyway, okay, all right. Well, we start things off this week with, as you might expect, a customized list of the tech products that you'll never go back from. Now, my book sack, in fact, Kathleen, if we'll fill for 15 seconds.
Yep. It's
perfect.
there.
I have my my book sack here for those of you listening. It sounds like nylon because it is. It's my Nike 6.0. I bought this for a
Your
trip.
backpack.
Yeah, my backpack, which I don't actually use for backpacking. But I guess maybe I do, because backpacking is a thing, but you also can backpack while you're doing something.
Do you have a pack on your back? Well,
I
then
have
it's
a pack on my back, so it's backpacking. So anyway, this I bought for a trip to Rome because it's light, and it's actually built for cyclists, so to be light enough to. And this bag is getting a lot of battle damage because I have spent, I guess, 4 or 5 years now, figuring out what works in it, what doesn't. There are things that always stay in here. There are things that move from time to time. But there are certain products that you never really turn away from. You never go back from. And so we've had some help from Lifehacker. You remember them?
Oh yeah.
And you remember them, darling. They're the ones who showed up for dinner, completely prepared. So we're inspired by a Lifehacker list, and we put together part of our own. Father, first up on the list is, in fact, a quality bag or backpack.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things that it's worth spending a little extra money. I've owned a bunch of little $25 bags that fall to pieces or get cut or shredded, or but I finally just decided to buy a good expensive one. I bought about a $125 bag from Swiss somebody or other. I don't know. Some company. But it was a spectacular bag. It did exactly what I wanted. It was the kind of computers I wanted. Like you, my thing stays full.
Yep.
And it's got a separate compartment for my my work folders. I have several plastic folders that include urgent, unurgent, and, quote, boring office work. And that goes in there at the end of the day. The laptop goes in there. I come upstairs to mission control up here, and kind of, that bag goes with me everywhere I go. And it'll travel with me to Europe. And it's worth spending a little few extra dollars on a bag that's going to last you.
That's right. Some priest things that go in the backpack include travel stole.
Ooh.
And I also have anointing of the sick oil in here. It's right next to my square reader. But yeah, so I also have a little vial of oil.
Simony.
That is important. Yeah, important.
No,
If you're
charge
going to
them.
sell the sacraments, you want to make sure you have the square reader right there. Just
You guys take Visa? You're darn right I do.
if you're going to commit a mortal sin, brother, got to get paid.
That's right. Anyway, so Jeff, do you actually have like a bag that you bring everywhere with you?
Several.
Yeah.
I've got one on the floor over here, but I don't have
You don't have a primary bag.
No, because I've got tools in one. I got computer stuff and music.
Yeah, your cables and tuners and tuna.
So a variety of things. But
he does have a seafood case. Don't laugh at him.
Hey, I don't judge.
Yeah,
I do.
I know. I've eaten some salmon from your seafood satchel. Kathleen, you've got a backpack.
I do, and mine is slightly larger than yours. I always find that I care, and I've tried to be really good about this. I buy larger bags, and then I fill them with stuff that I don't ever use. And so being a teacher, you
carbon dating to get to the bottom.
Right.
And as a teacher, you bring stuff home all the time, and I realized last year I was bringing stuff back and forth 5 days a week that I never
Ever.
needed.
Mhm.
I never used at home. So I've been somewhat good at depacking my backpack.
Yeah. So the bag is important because it's kind of like having a name for your band. Once you know the name, you know what kind of band you have. Once you have the bag, you know what you can put in it. And so a quality pair of headphones would be first up on the list, I would think, because I know, Father, whenever we're going to Italy in just a few weeks' time, we have to bring our own headphones with us, don't we?
Yeah, they're asking that we have some headphones because, of course, you have little whisper pack things that you in the major museums now around the world, you can no longer talk during a tour. So they actually have a little box that they give you, and you plug in your own headphones and you can listen. But I mean, all over the place. I mean, whether you're in a coffee shop now, even if I'm in a library, if you pull up my phone, sometimes the only way you can get information is a video or a video chat, and so you just have to have headphones on you. Investing in, I bought a $125 pair of Bose headphones that are just earbud headphones, and they get a little tiny box and they're astoundingly good. And it's just worth spending a few extra dollars in headphones that are good and aren't going to hurt your ears and aren't going to bust your eardrum, etc.
My Bose headphones, my little in-ear ones, because I did the same thing. I was going to Europe one year, and I said, I'm just going to go ahead and drop the cash on a nice pair that will serve me well in my book sack whenever I'm, back in the States. And those things have disintegrated, actually. I don't know.
Really?
It's kind of sad. I thought those would be my good go-to headphones.
Yeah.
But all the plastic is worn away, and it's just a copper.
And I
actually use a cheaper pair of headphones.
And I use a pair of cans, as they call them. Because I like the like we're wearing
the big
here
over
on
ear
radio. Because I typically do like sound monitoring.
Yeah.
So
you need to have every.
And I like bandwidth. That has the full bandwidth. So Sony NDR7506 studio phones. You can get them for under $100. But they are, and they'll collapse down, but they're not like the little buds by any means.
Yeah. And Kathleen, you probably have. You just have your regular old.
Yeah, I get the cheapos because I have tiny ear holes.
Oh yeah.
So like, when I have little earbuds that I stick in, and then it's like too much pressure builds up and they just pop out.
They pop out, really?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you smile so much.
Yeah.
It creates lots of pressure.
So when I run, I'm constantly when I run, I'm constantly sticking them back in and. Yeah. But I do cheapos because I'm not a sound person. I really can't tell you the difference between. They always get mad at me at sound checks when we play in the band.
Because you know when sound is happening and when it's not, and that's it.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, what about this? I'm like,
that sounds the same.
Sounds good. I don't know.
So headphones, some flash memory thumb drives, some rather large ones are usually a good thing. I know I've got a flash drive that's like I think I have a small one which is 32 gig.
Wow.
But I also have I know.
Yeah, really.
I also have a keychain that looks like a key that has like 120 gigs on it.
Is that right?
Because you never know.
I've seen that thing before. I didn't realize it had that.
You thought it was a key.
Oh, and I have an 8 gig and think I'm doing great.
Yeah. Well, Father Brian and I, over the course of our lives, have had to move large files around.
Yeah, especially if you're doing video and what.
Yeah. In fact, for the longest time, I think it's 100 and something gig, it'll itty bitty one, and that's what the Catholic Underground lived on for a while before we started using solid state drive recorder. But those are good to have in your book sack. Father, do you have SD cards as well?
Yeah, I've got about a terabyte of HD, not a terabyte. I've got about a gigabyte. No, wait,
terabyte. He says.
Well, I've got a bunch of 64 gig. So yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I've got a bunch of 64 gig cards, probably 12 of them, and then I have a bunch of 64 and 128 gig thumb drives. And so anytime I'm asked to do a project or go anywhere, I just grab a handful of them. There's always some in the bag as well, because you never ever know when you're going to need not just a little space, but I mean a lot of space.
Right.
And especially something as simple as, well, I want to go ahead and back up the entire hard drive of this laptop. Wow. You can do that on a thumb drive. So why wouldn't you? Yeah. It's lightning fast, and if you get some USB 3 version, you're really sitting in butter.
Which is where you can be sitting.
Yeah, butter.
I love a good butter bag.
And actually, see you listener, if you can tell me where that phrase comes from, then I don't really know what I would do, but that phrase has worked its way into my vocabulary and now in Father Ryan's. I love it when that happens.
I do too.
Good stuff.
I honestly don't remember where it's coming from. I'm trying to remember.
I do.
It's incredibly obscure. Incredibly obscure.
Yeah, you're going to have to tell me because I don't know.
Unless you have the whole DVD set. Ooh, Kathleen She's
Ah.
rethinking. Anyway, so a quality prosumer DSLR camera, would your iPhone count?
I would no. I mean, I'm talking about a real DSLR, especially if you have an eye for photography. Sometimes you just want to do a great photo.
Or you need a lens that can do it.
Yeah, I mean, you want something that can accommodate glass. You want something that can accommodate a real lens. I mean, you can get a decent prosumer DSLR for like $500.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a $5,000 Sony, D5 or Nokia.
But well, those little Canon Coolpix things, or rather the what are they called, the TI or
The
something.
T3i Rebel?
Yeah, the
That's what I
T3i
have.
Rebel. Yeah.
I bought that a couple years ago, and it's great. I mean,
I've toyed with getting one of those.
it's really great.
Saving
it's,
my
it's-
pennies.
It's easy to I'm not a photographer, but I do like to take pictures.
Yeah.
It's come in handy a lot, especially when you go to events. For me, when you go to events like I have some friends who played at Abbey Youth Fest, which is a big outdoor youth festival, and I took some pictures of them, and they came out really well without me having to try. And it also takes really good quality video as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's what I like about the T3i is
Yeah.
that because the lens is what it is, you can get very beautiful cinematic looking photography from it, or video photography from it.
Yeah.
But of course, one of the things I like to do as a graphic artist is I'll take my own stock photos as I need them. The iPhone usually works for that.
Yeah.
But I've been toying with a DSLR, just something that can take up space in your go bag. A quality mechanical keyboard and mouse as opposed to one of those roll-up big piano key ones, or some sort of gimmicky thing. I actually have found that I leave those places. So I don't.
Really?
Yeah, I keep one. I just actually keep my MacBook Pro always in my book sack.
I mean, a mechanical. Well, you said
Like an actual
keyboard.
physical keyboard. Yeah.
I mean, that's something.
Well,
that's
they're small nowadays. If you get the Bluetooth ones, they actually have ones that fold
Really?
up. Yeah, I don't know, Father. Do you keep one in your bag? Or do you just?
Well, I don't keep one in the bag with me, but I keep several mechanical keyboards, one USB and one Bluetooth, both from Apple. And because if I gotta go debug somebody's computer, or sometimes like if my keyboard's not my laptop has a problem, I need to be able to make the thing work.
Right.
And whereas those membrane and gimmick keyboards come and go, a good quality mechanical keyboard will last you a long time.
Well,
The USB standard is going to be with us for at least another 10 years.
Mhm.
And so it's a good investment, and it's cheap. It's like $60.
Right.
Nice.
And these, of course, are investments that you make over time. Partially, I guess, because of necessity. Think, oh man, like the latest hardware mouse that I left in Birmingham at Father Mark's place, Father Mark, our official roadie. I have the little Bluetooth dongle, but I don't have the mouse.
Oh.
But I got to the point where I was like, well, I'm working on something that I need an actual mouse and not a trackpad.
I hate
Yeah.
trackpads.
Father Ryan loves them.
I
That's why-
love me some
that's why I
trackpad. My favorite. I'm using one right now.
As
I'm
we speak.
loving it.
Up next is a solid state drive, SSD. This would be a little bit larger, although not much these days, a little bit larger than a flash memory thumb drive. And this is whenever you do need to back up significant amounts of data, or you're moving
What?
huge movie files or things.
Yeah, and this is I'm thinking of if you're thinking about something you want to invest in that's going to be a big benefit to you, invest in an SSD, install it in your laptop or your desktop or any kind of computer.
Yeah.
Even if you just hook it into some kind of external case and plug it in by FireWire or a Thunderbolt connector, it's a giant win. And so it's a little more expensive. It's probably $400 to $500, but it's the kind of investment that I put in my iMac, and it has dramatically sped up my iMac.
I'm sure.
Just the boot time went from about 30 seconds to like 9 seconds.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Crazy.
because it's basically just firing all through that silicon. It's a silicon thing that makes it, right? It's the miracle
Well,
silicon.
it's silicon and the use of nowadays it's carbon nanotubes.
Right.
But just because everything, there's no read time, there's no spinning.
Yeah.
And so you have all the data right away, and the only thing that locks you up is the bandwidth of what we call the bus. And because the bus on that thing is so fast, it's a SCSI bus for it's lightning fast. I mean, the only thing that can make it faster is a fiber channel. And so it's really quick. It's good for you.
So you said carbon
nanotubes.
nanotube.
Jeff
Okay,
is making sure he's got
Got
a
it.
note,
Got it.
so he can
We're
wiki
actually
that
hoping
later.
to develop multi-state I/O binary data on carbon nanotubes because they can maintain not just 2 states of off and on, but multiple states. And so carbon nanotubes are the future of quantum computing, which theoretically would be you could ask all the questions at once.
Yeah, instead of...
Yeah, it's kind of a weird kind of quantum singularity.
That's not weird. Maybe that's...
I don't know about you, but I like my computer living inside this continuum. I mean, I don't want a wormhole in my living room unless I can also get to Arby's from it.
Well, and right now it's fairly easy to understand. Like a base 2 system, you go, okay, it's binary, but we're talking about base 60 numbers.
That's amazing.
Oh, wow.
And even I'm a math nerd, a hardcore math nerd who studies quantum physics for fun. I can't think in base 60 numbers, and it's going to be beyond confusing for me trying to figure out how to operate a quantum computer.
I can't think in base 10, so we're uneven. All right, quality travel tools like a travel power strip and adapter, a travel router, which I still have yet to buy, but I'm going to get one, and a travel battery. Father, travel routers are becoming more and more, they're becoming smaller, but they're becoming more and more necessary.
Yeah, and I think even the hotels would prefer that you use them because it just makes it easier on them. It makes it easier on their system. And I mean, it's easy because almost every hotel room has a physical plug-in somewhere. Wi-Fi, maybe you're at a good point, maybe you're not, but you plug in your own router, you put your own security, and there's nothing worse than using the Wi-Fi at a hotel. I mean, it's like sharing a pool with 1,000 people. You just don't want to get involved in it.
Like a restroom at a bus station, okay?
Yeah, basically.
Sharing a bath at a bus station.
Oh, my. Okay.
It's really terrible for you. I mean, I've turned on some hacking tools at a hotel. Yeah. You're talking about dozens and dozens of people making payments and credit card data in the open. And it's impossible to encrypt email passwords.
Right.
And so when you're sending your email password over your mail.app thing,
somebody could be sniffing that packet.
That's right. It's in the open, and then if that's your Gmail password, you're gone. Yeah. I can grab that, log in as you, and instantaneously take everything from you, change your password, and bam.
Even if you have something like 1Password, you're not getting anywhere because it's being sent. And if you've got somebody who's sniffing the packets and can unencrypt it, they will. So the router actually has another layer of security for you too.
Okay.
And then of course, travel power strip. I have one by Belkin that I keep in my bag all the time. And I finally wrestled away from Father Ryan because I tend to leave my peripherals.
Yes, he does.
This one has 3, and folks in the coffee shop love this because you go to a coffee shop and you manage to find an actual power outlet. Yes. Well, this one makes that one power outlet 3, and then it's got USB charging on the side, so you can become a rock star at your local coffee shop too. Until you have to unplug.
Well, you can use your Square card there and just rent space.
Oh no, that's an idea. That's a great idea. Oh, you want to use this public outlet that I've installed my private peripheral on? That'll cost you $20 an hour.
Yeah, we'll hook you up.
We'll even take American Express. And then RAM upgrades are always good. This isn't something that you necessarily keep in your bag, but they're really important. In fact, I'm running into an issue on the Big Mac that I edit the Catholic Underground on. We need more RAM. I think it's only got like 3 gig or 4 gig in it. But
really?
Yeah, and isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? We need more.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
It's weird as the skin box, man.
So and so whenever your computer slows down, Kathleen, it's usually a RAM issue. Usually. Oh. In fact, that's why your phone is so slow right now.
I hate this.
I've just gotten into the habit of every time I buy a computer, I put as much RAM as Apple will sell me into it.
Yeah,
and
max it out.
It's going to increase the price $200 or $300, but in the end, it's always going to be worth it.
True.
Just the maximum amount of RAM. The hard drive is less important because with those big thumb drives, I can take stuff off, but you've got to have tons of RAM.
And then, of course, a big high-res monitor. I have 2 24-inch monitors, I think, on the Big Mac, so I can work on podcast editing, video editing, audio editing, all those things all at the same time, and just split it across my screen. Father Ryan actually uses his screens with a greater degree of organization than I do.
I know you're shocked by that. I have a 46-inch TV. I have a 30-inch iMac and 2 24-inch monitors all connected together to make what amounts to mission control.
Yep.
And at any time, I'm using it to maintain the social media of the parish and also stuff I'm working on, research, calendars, and also listening to music. And in fact, I'm also using it now with my pick of the week. That's going to be there as a way of generating kind of white noise and audio to kind of keep me focused better. So I'm reusing a ton of Windows all the time.
So there you go. That's some of the stuff that we keep in our bags and in our missions control. Let us know what yours are. Backchat CatholicUnderground.com.
From the Catholic Underground.
You are, in fact, listening to the Catholic Underground. I'm Father Chris Decker, joined by Kathleen Lee, Jeff Blackwell, Father Ryan Humphreys, and Ed on the video stream. So Google Apps is growing up more and more. They've matured to the point that they're now creating internally branded products on top of their Google platforms. So we welcome into the world Google for Work and Google Apps for Education. And Jeff, you're not new to the Google sphere.
No, I'm not. And I got to be honest with you. The first time, and this goes back a while because Google is kind of, it's been around for a while.
They have.
I thought it was kind of one of these little novel things like AOL or what have you. But the core of Google Apps, as you probably know, are already free.
Yep.
In fact, I just recently started making use. Well, here at the Catholic Underground, we've been using the Google Drive for what?
Oh gosh,
a couple of years for sure.
We've been using. How long have you been using Google Drive? Well, Docs, Father.
Since it very first came out. Remember, we tried Google Wave.
Oh yeah,
which was the predecessor to Google Docs. And as soon as they opened Google Docs, I think it was 3 days later, we stared playing around with it. So it's been the very beginning.
Yeah. So I've been using Google Calendar for the last 6 months quite a bit because I have 4 different calendars for work projects, people who are booking time for studio guests who are coming in to like the morning show, Catholic Radio. Anyway, these are just some of the products like Gmail, Google Drive, Google Calendar, as I mentioned, Google Messenger, and the like. And about 5 years ago, Google created what would we call this? Kind of a garden?
Well, we call it the official name is a walled garden in the geek sphere. It's basically you can live inside their garden, and you do everything in there, but you don't do anything outside of it. They're trying to get you kind of like an Apple store.
Yeah, and I do kind of like the idea, but now this is allowing businesses to create some link between Google accounts and replace the at Gmail and at mycompany.com. So this year, Google has split Google Apps into 2 distinct platforms, Google for Work and Google Apps for Education. And according to Father Ryan Humphreys, both of these are pretty fantastic.
And so this is basically, from what I understand, Father, because I toyed with getting Google Apps for nonprofits for our parishes, but I haven't done it yet. Because I think that but will Google for Work and Google Apps for Education be free for nonprofits? I don't know.
No, the Google for Education is already free.
Yeah.
It's as long as you can prove you're a school, they'll let you sign up all your kids. It's really impressive. I talked to the guy in California for about an hour about this. Just asking
hey, so you think of using Google for Ed? Awesome.
His name was Lord Googly Goggly. I mean, I'm not even a little bit joking.
Come on.
And why shouldn't
and he goes, "Hi, Ryan. This is Lord."
Oh,
and I just didn't know what to say. And I said, excuse me? He goes, "I'm calling from Google about your question."
I'm actually a Catholic priest, and I'm having trouble calling you Lord.
I just didn't know what to say. I mean, it's like, okay.
I'll never call you by name.
It was so weird. But right now, Google Work is fairly inexpensive, $5 per year. So, I mean, even if your parish has quite a few employees, you're still only looking at maybe $50, $100 a year, which is just not that big of a deal, even for a nonprofit. And so I'm very seriously thinking about moving to that for our parish as well. And the school, as I said, is free, and it's incredible. You watch the video on Google Classroom, and it boggles the mind. And then you add to that the ability to integrate the docs and the ability to integrate email addresses and all of that stuff for free. It's insane what they offer, and it's truly incredible.
Now, this all sounds wonderful,
mm-hmm.
and Google has already proven, I think, that they really do make applications that you're going to use every day. I mean, I use Google Calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Kathleen, you probably use Google Calendar.
Oh yeah,
as well.
Google Docs. Yeah.
And you use Google Docs, and you can share with people some of the contact management stuff. Even Google Messenger, Google Chat, or whatever they call it, works fairly well. You know, and actually, of course, Google Phone. What do they call it? Google Talk or Google Voice.
Sorry. Yeah, Google Voice.
Google Voice is the emergency line for my parish. So I mean, I'm pretty embedded in the walled garden. But there is a looming downside to all of this.
Now, let me ask you,
Yeah.
could it be, because I'm thinking, the first thing that hit me was that Google Apps for Education,
Yeah.
is this curriculum driven or it's just a tool?
I think it's a tool for your curriculum.
Okay, so we'll take that off the table then.
Right, because it's like, Father, I haven't seen the video yet, but is it student tracking and grade tracking and
it's
testing
all of it.
and yeah?
Oh, really?
Like you
Grade
can imagine, you
checking.
set up your school sets up all the students and all the teachers.
Uh-huh.
Then they create classes and drag students into teachers' classrooms. Then teachers can manage grades, can establish assignments that they can track whether the student turned them in or not. It's no curriculum. They're not trying to push an ideology.
Okay.
It's Bill and Melinda Gates. That's what they're doing.
Framework that is incredibly cool. And once they add some plagiarism engine into, which they're working on, I talked to Lord about that. Not Lord, you understand, but Lord about plagiarism engine. And he said, yeah, that's the next step. And then once that's done, I mean, you're talking about saving my school about $4,000 a year.
Is that so?
Turnkey.
Wow.
That's pretty
Well, you were alluding to something, though, Father. I interrupted you.
No, not at all. And all of this, and we say that these are good services, but there is like a little if the Dexter side is making, daily tools for your life, the sinister side is data mining, isn't it, Father?
Yeah, that's what Google does. Their job, they're trying to get people to use the web so that they can figure out how to make ads that are going to make me buy something. Because the more targeted the ad is, the more they can sell it for, to Bob's, I don't know what it is, maybe selling ads to me, but, bobsalbs.com. The more targeted they are, the better. And so if they can get more and more people using the apps, then they know, John Q. Freshman is into this, or they know he's a strong writer or a weak writer.
Yeah.
And they know that my employees, this one does music and that one does art, and so on and so forth. And so there's a certain amount of data mining with it. Now that data is private and this is all digitized mining, but if you're doing something illegal, of course, it's going to be bad and you're going to get caught. But it's still just a little bit shady because you're like, well, somebody's making money off of me, but at the same time, they're giving me a huge amount of services in exchange. And hey, I use an ad blocker anyway, so what are you going to do?
That's right. It's that part, of course, is always a little spooky. That they're picking up that I like to shop for computer hardware and that sort of thing online, and they begin targeting my browsing experience and even my email experience towards computer hardware deals and things like that. But I suppose that's the business side. That's the cost of doing business. Is that what you would say?
That's what they say.
That's what they say. So let us know what you think. As always, backchat at CatholicUnderground.com. Is this something that you will use? And is it something that just scares you from not using it? Yeah. All right, fellow Undergrounders, you are listening to the Catholic Underground. We are online at CatholicUnderground.tv. If you've just discovered us, welcome. I'm Father Chris Decker. Joining me, as ever he did, Father Ryan Humphreys. We've also got Jeff Blackwell and Kathleen Lee. Our picks of the week are coming up just a little bit later. But first, I want to talk about one of our favorite things, and that's cutting the proverbial cord, right? You might be watching this on cable TV, on Catholic Life Television, or up in Minnesota. But we are finding, and major cable TV providers are finding that they're being just completely used only for their bandwidth. And cable providers now have more broadband subscribers than they have cable subscribers. And this seems to me to be a shift that is taking place. And I will say, with having an Apple TV and even a Roku, I'm seeing more and more broadcasters are kind of jumping on the bandwagon, even though they maybe are reluctantly doing so. And so, on the Apple TV, there is a Fox app, there's an ABC app, there's a PBS app, and all of these tie into, very cleverly, your cable company agreement with these particular providers, and also your local affiliate. So if ever I'm watching the ABC app, well, my local ABC affiliate is also co-branded along with my cable company. And so this is the cord cutting that's on the rise, Father. And you actually don't have cable television up where you are. I mean, it's there, but you don't use it.
Yeah, I haven't had it in about 6 years, and with the rise of these off-brand, is the best way to describe them for me, these web companies series like Silicon Valley and shows made by Amazon and Netflix and others, and with the fact that HBO is making a very, very public move now to try to make their HBO Go app disconnected from the need to own HBO as a cable subscription. They're now going to let people just pay for the subscription on the iPhone or iPad only. That is a game changer because now it's possible to get meaningful entertainment separate from your provider. Now, you may still want to get the guy who builds pools on the Animal Planet. You got to wonder as we go further and further, isn't it going to make sense for those people not just to make it available to bundlers, but isn't it going to be why wouldn't Animal Planet want me to pay $1.99 a month to have their advertising or their content on my iPad?
That's right.
And as that becomes more and more doable for them, eventually, at first it's going to be a both and eventually the cord's going to go away and it's going to be you have to get subscriptions.
I've been watching it happen, like with Disney XD, because one of my favorite cartoon shows to veg out to is Gravity Falls, and I don't, because of my schedule, I don't have time to sit at 8 p.m. to watch the Gravity Falls premiere as it comes up new each week. But I said to myself yesterday, as a matter of fact, I had a little free time. Why don't I see if the Disney XD app on the Apple TV has the latest Gravity Falls? And sure enough, it did. And here's something that I saw that I haven't seen before. There is a custom ad that's being fed into the video feed. So before I watch, and then at the regular commercial breaks, this is extra ad revenue coming in, presumably to either Apple or to Disney. Yeah, and that's, I think, where the reality is beginning to change. And of course, Father, we've been saying this for a while. This is where it was going.
Right. We've been calling it out and saying maybe this is the way it's going to be. Maybe it's going to be, and it's inevitable at this point. But at the same time, it's not just about some statistic. The real advantage for us is that as it makes it more and more possible for your Netflix and your Amazon to create content and to have people watch it, we now are able to start getting a little more distance from Hollywood, which is viciously anti-Catholic, viciously anti-religious, and very, very much ideologically top-down. It's not coming up from writers, this is what we want to write about. It's kind of ideological things like you will write Modern Family, you will write stories that degrade and dissolve the family. And so as it becomes possible to build up from what people's real experience is, it becomes possible for us to make content that's actually going to build up, kind of a natural law of family values and build up faith within shows as opposed to the kind of vicious ideology we've seen coming out of Hollywood. So this is really as much of a punch in the face to Hollywood as it is a question of whether the cable companies are doing well. So would you say that, I don't know, for Catholic media apostolate that might be on the grow, having video facilities to create content, especially for an audience that might be ripe for some family values, would be important? Oh, I think it's hugely important, Father, and I think you're clever for asking about it. I am, which does lead us to an interesting and unexpected discussion on a new vampire horror show on television, which, incidentally, Father, is written by two Catholics. Yeah, blogger Matthew Baclow at Brandon Bott's site, Strange Notions, did a profoundly good profile on the new TV show called The Strain, which actually comes on in like 30 minutes my time. It shows an interesting take on the vampire genre because it centers around an odd couple of an atheistic scientist from the CDC and the kind of quintessential Van Helsing character played by Hogwarts caretaker Mr. Filch. Oh, we are in trouble. We are. But listen to this quotation from Mr. Filch about the strain. As in the show, his character says, "This scourge we are now witnessing has existed for millennia. It's corruption of both flesh and spirit. It ravages what is human and its victim, and it instills the raging thirst. And that is its goal, destroy humanity." Wow, he turned vampirism into a meditation from St. Paul. Yes! I mean, that's exactly it. It's, yes, you got it. Got it. You're getting it. You're getting it. High five to myself. Some call that clapping. I don't. The two major authors of the show are Carlton Cuse and Guillermo del Toro, and both are very practicing Catholics. And they've said in interviews that their faith is a big part of the story. For example, Carlton Cuse said in a recent interview, I think it was Rolling Stone, he said, "I think religion becomes more meaningful in people's lives when it's told rather in the form of stories where people can connect. In a lot of ways, the Bible is a great story, as he says, and you find the meaning underneath that, but I think its relevance is not just because of the embedded meaning. It's also because the stories are so good."
Absolutely.
And both of the authors, Del Toro and Cuse, say the story needs to go beyond moralizing one-dimensional characters. That's stuff like Fireproof, even God's Not Dead. It's just so one-dimensional. But a good story, kind of brings you inside the heart of a good moral choice, and of someone who is saying, "I'm willing to sacrifice for something more," or even a character like Father Elijah, made as a series on like Amazon or Netflix. Could become something that would absolutely capture the nation. And you could see that caught well and produced well, never in Hollywood, but by one of these little, people who can do whatever they want to do on film. It becomes interesting. And even if you have to use some harsh language along the way, you're speaking a language people understand, but it becomes powerful and possible to tell a good story, not just to have some god-awful Fireproof, where somebody comes in and goes, "Can I read the Bible to you for a moment?"
And of course, Father Elijah is the novel by Michael D. O'Brien, which I think would make an excellent series. In fact, because it's a novel that has been written, you could do it BBC style and do 6 episodes or a series, or 3 separate series of 6 episodes and tell the whole story. And an upcoming, perhaps independent Catholic movie house could make something like this. And I think we've already seen, and we've spoke about before, that because the technology is getting so small and affordable, you can do beautiful things for a lot less money than you would have needed even 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
Well, and we're already seeing the Father Brown mysteries written by G.K. Chesterton have been brought back into kind of a more modern series. It's a remarkably good show.
Right.
These are very overtly Catholic stories, that are definitely exactly in the vein of what we're talking about. I mean, The Strain is right at the very edge of that because it's very violent, and you have all the flawed characters, and some of them are going to make a move in the right direction. Some of them are going to just die Game of Thrones style, just for funsies. And it's not what I'd call an evangelical story.
No.
But the show itself is captivating, it's gripping, and it's crystal clear. The characters say over and over again that this strain is a metaphor for original sin.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, that's very, very, very clear in the character, in the author's mind, and reading between the lines, the dialogue. I mean, it could not be more obvious if they had a big sign up that said, "This is original sin." It's incredibly good, and I recommend watching it. But do realize it's tough, it's gory, but at the same time, it's got an incredibly strong message built into a gritty, kind of dark, dystopian story. I'm enjoying it thoroughly.
And that can be a good bridge, I think, too, because Catholics should never be afraid of using fallen humanity to tell the story of where we need to go. And sometimes that is gritty and it's messy. And we've said this on the show before, and I think that can be a very good bridge. You say, Father, sometimes you do need to use strong language to shake someone up from the pear tree, to take up and read St. Paul's letter. And I think that our media can do that, and as the morality plays in the Middle Ages did, as good theater Shakespeare did, to be able to meditate upon the human condition and then call it up higher. We've got to figure out new ways to do that. And the cutting of the cable cords and the increase in bandwidth can provide perhaps that venue. So in that vein, let's quickly look at some popular movies with a strong pro-life or maybe even a Christian message. And this is yet another list that comes to us from CatholicStand.com. The first one I haven't seen yet, but I've read the book. And the book, The Giver, is very good. Kathleen, have you read the book?
I have not. I am behind.
It's a short read. It's really good. And I would recommend the Lord of the Rings series, of course, which I know all of us here, to be on Catholic Underground, it's a required reading. Oh, Jeff didn't know that. But Kathleen either, apparently. Oh,
I've seen the movies. Get out of here.
The movies, I mean, are actually, they carry along the message fairly well.
Yeah. In
They
fact,
do a good
we
job.
used them on the March for Life trip.
Oh, yeah.
And we watched every one of them in
Wow.
succession.
Wow.
But we used them, and
Yeah.
it is great. It was great.
That's really cool that kids will watch that because the story is good.
Yeah. Well, and they're still
And-
on a bus, so
What do you
they can't get away.
Yeah, right.
also, Bella, which I haven't seen, but I know
Oh, so good.
August Rush, which is a
Yep.
good movie.
Also very good.
Yeah.
Great soundtrack on that.
Yeah,
movie.
very good
Yeah,
soundtrack.
yeah.
Harry Potter, which we would
Harry
include because
Potter.
even though Harry does seem to escape consequences, overall, it has a very we must live, we must be pro-life kind of message.
Well, and in
mhm.
particular, the Catholic family says that scene, whole scene with Creature,
Oh,
who is not Dobby, but the other elf, where Creature is this terrible, bad figure, and because Sirius Black is so hateful toward him.
Yeah.
But in the last story, when Harry and Hermione and Ron are trying to kind of figure out the deal, they finally try to be kind to him, and you see this dramatic shift.
and he responds to
Right, and
kindness.
Creature becomes this incredible helper along the way, and it's just incredibly remarkable. And that's really the scene they want to point out most. But there is, like you said, Father Chris, tons and tons of scenes where things, where people evolve and grow
Mhm.
because they do the right thing. It's important.
I haven't seen Gimme Shelter yet.
Me neither. I heard it's
Really
good.
good.
It is very good.
That's good.
It's very good. My wife and I watched that.
And the girl who's at the heart of it, who's one of the ones who tries to do all the skanky movies she can, it really turned out to be good. Vanessa
Mhm,
Hudgens.
mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
It's not. You kind of hope sometimes actors who choose to do one of these films that is life changing for the audience is also in some way life changing for the person who does them.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
you hope. Yeah.
You hope, and a lot of actors will say that if they've been on a movie where there's a strong priest figure or something like that, they really do have those moments where they come to themselves. You know,
Mhm.
and sometimes it can bring about, however small and minuscule in the demon spot is Hollywood. They do perhaps begin to have their hearts turned a little bit. Also, Horton Hears a Who, that Dr. Seuss classic.
Can I ask why? Why did this make the list? I mean, is it?
Oh, it's a person's a person, no matter how small. It's kind of the
okay. All
the
right.
thing. Horton's this big elephant, and he's
Yeah.
got this little dandelion that has an entire civilization living on it, and he does everything that he can to protect
Yes.
this
Okay.
civilization.
All right.
And so that's kind of the notion of pro-life. It doesn't matter who the person is. If they
Yeah.
are a person
Or
imbued
character.
with
Yeah.
soul by God,
Yeah.
then they are worth preserving. You know,
True that.
just like Heaven, which I haven't seen.
I haven't seen that either.
Me neither.
October Baby.
Mhm.
So good.
Kathleen's
Yes.
seen that one.
Yeah. Really
Yeah.
good.
And then Les Miserables.
Oh,
Uh,
I've
Me-
seen all the different versions
me
of Les
like it.
Miserables.
Mhm.
And of course, I've seen the play as well.
have you
And-
decided that the newer one is better, or do you like the one with
Man,
Gerard Depardieu?
I liked the one with Gerard Depardieu because I can't stand Hugh Jackman singing in such a high register that doesn't match his tone.
Yeah.
It
I
is
mean,
a
come
little
on,
silly. I haven't thought about that.
24601. Just lower, just come
Although-
down an octave.
Although talking about art and beauty, I really did like the idea that they sang it live. I thought that was really
Oh, that
cool.
was awesome.
Yeah.
That actually is what we believe about Catholic liturgy.
Yeah.
That because Catholic liturgy is bringing you into the moment of Calvary, you ought not to use recorded music
Yeah.
because it's important that what you're doing is with your human abilities in that moment. And so that's actually what they did with Les Mis. They had these little earpieces similar to what we're wearing, had the piano accompaniment being played live as they sang it
Yeah.
live, and then they added the score in later.
Yeah. Which I think, being a music person, there was room for forgiveness with that. Because there were a
And-
couple parts like,
Yeah,
Wow.
and that was the thing. Musically, this version was wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, because what they did, the Gerard Depardieu wasn't exactly a musical.
yeah.
It was a dramatic retelling without music, as I recall.
Mhm.
But the latest Les Mis was very much more along the lines of trying to represent the Broadway play,
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
and so it was,
Which
it was very much.
I thought with them singing live, definitely there was more grit to it.
Yeah.
And more,
Yeah.
because there's nothing worse than watching a musical where it's like some kind of like battle scene is going
or like
on.
the Sound of Music live on NBC.
Yeah.
That was-
and
Hwah!
the music is so like, yeah, and then it's like this horrible scene. What's going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked it a lot. And
so
it definitely has a pro. Coming back to the
Yeah.
main purpose of
it's
definitely-
rather anti-church, but very pro-life.
Yeah.
But that was the time in which this was set. Was the French Revolution, and it was a great upheaval. Although the church, the bishop is painted in a
yeah.
good light.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
but that was a very dark time.
That's perhaps the finest scene in the Depardieu film when the bishop,
Yeah.
pushes him out the door and puts the silver candlesticks, and he says, "I'm buying your soul."
That's right.
It was incredible, but that scene in and of itself is like, this is what the church is meant to be.
That's
so
right.
the rest of it, we get the short end. But it's an
bought
incredible story.
your soul for God. Anyway, so yeah, those are just some of the many films that are out there that you have to search for sometimes. They do have a pro-life or even pro-Catholic message, right? Or even a Christian message, if you will, and aren't lowercase Lord, right? So we move from the lowercase to, well, this.
The CU Pick of the Week.
Yeah, we're moving a little early in CU Pick of the Week, so I hope we can sustain it. Actually, we're moving on time, but we tend to not take as long as we ought in the Pick of the Week. But we're going to do it anyway. So
Yes,
you
we
knew
will.
it was coming.
That's right.
Kathleen, you're here.
I am.
So what'd you pick?
I picked, and this is on my wish list. There's there's a rise in vintage bikes, I would say.
My parents had this bike.
The cruisers. And I saw one online. A friend of mine actually posted a picture of her in Walmart on this thing. And I was like, what is that?
What is that
need it.
contraption?
It's the 26-inch Schwinn Meridian adult tricycle. That's right. I said adult tricycle. Get excited.
You don't have to wear an adult diaper while you ride the tricycle. Just so
Maybe
you
if
know.
you get too excited, you might need one. But it's awesome.
That elicited an authentic laugh from me.
Oh, good. So anyway, it's like a cruiser. The it's got the wide handlebars.
Yeah.
It's got a basket in the bike, in the back, but it has 3 wheels. Count them, 3, and it's very awesome. I've seen some great reviews on it. For those of you like me who, when you get on one of those 3-speeders and you don't know how to shift and things are like clanking around when you shift, you're pretty sure you probably broke the chain, and then it's
And you did.
And then it's got the seat that is highly, highly uncomfortable.
Huh.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying.
You have to pay the price.
This looks awesome for those of us who want to bike yet do not want to be a cyclist, if that makes sense.
It does.
I don't want to wear any spandex or a helmet. I just want to ride the bike. And this looks awesome.
And in this, you could ride it in slow-mo and wave at people. That's what I picture Kathleen
And
doing.
you could put stuff in your basket. And
Like your
you
dog?
could have your own parade. Yes. Anyway, so this is on my wish list. It's a little pricey at about $300 because, let's face it, people who are selling these cruiser bikes, they're very proud of them.
Yeah. Schwinn's a good model. I mean,
yeah,
they made a good
it's
bike.
quality. Yeah.
$100 a wheel. That's not bad.
Yeah, yeah, just about. So this is on my wish list. I'm saving up my pennies. I might catch a loan from my parents and just get
Dive
it.
in.
I want it so bad, especially with the weather changing the way it is down here in Louisiana. It feels great outside. So
The only problem with a bike that large, I know because, like I said, my parents had this bike.
Mhm.
My mom did. You have to be able to store it.
Yeah.
It doesn't fold up or anything.
Yeah.
It takes up a quarter of a car spot in the garage.
Mhm.
You know, it's a nice sized bike, but a really nice ride. I remember riding it as an urchin. So yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I was not an adult, I did use this adult tricycle.
there you go.
And it was fully protected under the laws of the Geneva Conventions. Jeff Blackwell.
Okay. Well, I got to tell you, I'm a fan of 2001, A Space Odyssey.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I'm afraid I can't do that.
HAL, back in your corner. The HAL 9000, and I saw this device that reminded me of HAL, and it
Father Ryan's going to have one.
Oh, I am sure.
Sorry.
But it's
I may or may have pre-ordered it already.
Jibo. Oh, really? Jibo is what it's called, Jibo, and it touts itself as a family robot. And it's kind of been called an invention to humanize technology. So with a Kickstarter campaign to raise $100,000, they actually raised $2.2 million. I think they made their goal. And if you want to, in our show note, CatholicUnderground.com, you can see the link to myGbo.com, and they have produced a fairly expensive video presentation. Yeah. There's no way I could describe it to you on the radio, but it looks like two little spheres, and one of the top sphere is a little bit smaller, and it has a screen. A screen. The guys at MIT call it looks like a lampshade, but
kind of,
sort of. But
that's what humanizes. It's got rounded corners, rounded edges.
Yeah.
And on the screen, the little HAL thing that stares at you all the time is actually, it's like a little soft orb, and it can change into a smile or a heart or a moon and all these things as it's speaking to you in loving tones.
Yeah, it's really a pretty interesting video. It kind of creeps me out.
It's a little creepy
because like they show this guy walking in the front door. The room
this
is
guy
dark.
obviously needs a date.
Well, but
the thing that scares me about it is there's a point in the video where the thing creates a little box and says Ashley, and then it says exactly how far away Ashley is.
Right.
I'm wondering, is there going to be some kind of drone attack? I mean, is the thing going to take over the world? Because it's got a really, if the video is to be believed, incredibly good natural language engine.
Yes.
And I could see how it would be wildly useful. In an office setting, even more than a house, where you'd be able to say, get this, call this person, send a text message. Which you can do on your phone, but if the thing is just there and that's what it does, and you can say, show me this, or how tall is the Eiffel Tower?
Yeah.
That could be wildly useful.
Or could you look up this website and put it on my computer screen?
That would be better.
Yeah.
If it could interface with iOS and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So there's also a link here. I found an article from MIT Technology. Their review has some reservations. They say it opens the door to better human relations with appliances, is the way they put it.
Yeah.
For the future. But it's pretty interesting. Now, right now, they're not available. There's a prototype. Obviously, they're
kind of kickstarting, basically.
Yes, yeah. But the home model is available for about $600, but it won't be available to be delivered to your house until like April of 2016. So it's still, a year and a half away. But there's a developer edition, Father Ryan, which I don't understand exactly what that means, for $700. You can get in and kind of play around with the code and
more than likely, you can develop APIs and things like that.
To the SDK. And
that's right. The SDK.
The SDK and the IDE.
Mm-hmm. The SDK being the software development kit where you can actually develop applications for this device.
But hey, it's cheaper than an iPhone 6.
But it's cheaper than. Don't get Father Ryan started.
No. Anyway, check it out. MyGbo. That's GIBO.com. It's interesting.
I mean, I can just imagine. Father Ryan, I noticed that your knife collection needs to be sharpened. Would you like me to take care of it? Or will you? Yikes, no, Jibo, I'll just move it to another house.
We'll take care of that anyway. So I took up enough time.
Speaking of Father Ryan's knife collection.
Well, I have an easy pick of the week. When I'm using my computer, I don't always, but sometimes I realize it's dead silent. I get up early in the morning. It's like at 4:30 in the morning. If I'm going to do some writing or something, I will sometimes just notice how quiet it is, and that freaks me out briefly. So Elements, spelled without the two middle E's, is an ambient sound web app for Chrome. And it lets you choose one or more of the 6 buttons. You can choose rain, fire, a water fountain, a forest with birds, an ocean, or coffee shop buzz.
Or birds on fire.
Yes, birds on fire.
Sorry.
But it allows you, simply put, to click a button, you turn the volume up on that button, high or low, and that just creates an ambient noise in the background. And there's a million things that do this, but all of them require going to another website or finding something or paying money. This is free, it's easy, it lives in Chrome. I click a button and it's there. Sometimes I want music, and for that I use musictoworkby.com. Mm-hmm. But Elements is great. I use it a lot for just a little ambient noise if I'm trying to get my brain working and the quiet starts to bother me.
It's funny because I actually am the opposite. Unless I really need to focus, I like that it's quiet and no sound. I don't know. But it's neat that there's something that can live in Chrome and do that.
So, Father Christopher Becker, what is your pick of the
It turns out I've got one. I have been getting the digest emails from this guy from quite a while, but Scott Richard, who is the writer, the expert over at About.com's Catholicism portal, they have redesigned their website, and it's really, really nice looking. And so they update their articles pretty much weekly, and it usually coincides with the liturgical season, and there are all sorts of apologetics type articles. It's catholicism.about.com, and I just want to point it out because they actually spent, it looked like, a lot of time trying to get this going, and it really looks nice because, flat is the new rounded corners, and so it has a really good design to it. And they also have data from what else is happening on About.com. And About.com is one of those sites that you don't even know that you're looking at until you are. And they've also done a redesign of their logo. And I there's something about the kerning that's not quite right. The About logo is one size text, and then whatever it is, like religion, is like a pixel down. And it drives me crazy. But that's okay. I'm a designer, and you might not be. But that's my pick of the week, catholicism.about.com. It's a good redesign, and of course the content is very good. And Scott Richard is one of those folks that if I actually happened to be sitting next to him, I would try and buy him a cup of coffee and pick his brain, because he's always on this thing. And I don't know, I was watching an ad for About.com, and I think these folks, they do professional writing, things like that. They also have a real job, but in their spare time, they write for About.com, and so he's kind of the curator, the moderator for it. Really, really cool. So, catholicism.about.com. Jeff, we thank those who donate to us. We thank those who support us.
We even thank those who like us on Facebook.
Yeah, we do.
But we want to say thank you to audibletrial.com/Catholic Underground for bringing you portions of Catholic Underground. That's audibletrial.com/Catholic Underground.
That's right. And, of course, Catholic Underground is made possible because of people like you. You're the ones who go to CatholicUnderground.com and you find your way to that donate button, and we thank you for doing so. If you want the show notes that accompany our episode in this podcast, if you want to find out more about our apostle and what we do, if you want to connect with us on Twitter and Facebook, you can head over to CatholicUnderground.com to do so. Father Ryan's church is online at minorbasilica.org. He's at Far Humphreys on Twitter. Thank you, Father Ryan, for joining us.
It's been my pleasure.
Jeff Blackwell is their tech director for Catholic and Underground, and he is the ruling despot at the Blackwell Communications Group, jeffblackwell.us, and Jeff Blackwell is on Twitter. Thank you, Jeff.
It's a privilege, Father.
Kathleen Lee is our faith ninja at Kathleen YABR. Thank you, Kathleen.
Anytime.
And Ed Ball is on the, Ball, our video feed this week. He also translates Strindberg into Portuguese in his spare time. You know me, I'm Father Chris Decker. Follow me on Twitter at Digital Catholic. You can join us on the interwebs for more at CatholicUnderground.tv. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us on Digital Continent. For Catholic Underground, we're faith on digital. Yeah, we'll see you next time.
From the Catholic Underground.
He knows. Brian's still with us there?
Yep, I'm about to head out.
Okay. All right, that's a wrap, Father Chris. Is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
That is a wrap. Have a good week, Father.
All right. Bye-bye.